next is anomalous property of nitrogen. When we consider the group 15 elements, when we compare the nitrogen with the other elements, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. No? When we compare all the elements, with respect to these elements, the nitrogen is showing some different properties. So what is the main reason why the nitrogen is showing the anomalous properties is because the first thing is nitrogen is more electronegative, and then because of its small size. The one more important thing that mainly affects the chemistry of this nitrogen of among the group 15 element is that there is an absence of d orbitals. So this greatly affects the chemistry of this nitrogen. Okay, so one more property, that is nitrogen shows a p-pi bonding. So what is this p-pi bonding is? For example, the p orbital of one atom, the another p orbital of another atom, which will overlap like this. So by overlapping they form a bond, that is both of these will be involving a p orbital itself. So if in a molecule, if there is a involvement of a p orbital of one atom and the another atom, then we are going to call it as a p-pi bond. Okay, so nothing but it is based on the orbital only. For example, where you can see when nitrogen make a bond with this carbon, so there is a p-pi bonding. When nitrogen makes a bond with oxygen, there is a p-pi bond will be taking place. Okay, so the bond enthalpy for the nitrogen is also very much high. So that is of 941.4 kilojoules. So these are the important anomalous properties of this nitrogen. Unlike for the other atoms or the other elements of this, no, you can see here. So phosphorus, arsenic and antimony, they will make a single bond with its respective atom. Whereas bismuth, no, it forms a metallic bond in the elemental states. So when we compare the stability of this, no, when we compare the phosphorus, arsenic and the antimony, no, they are little stable compared to the N and single bond. So what is the main reason for this is the inter-electronic repulsion in nitrogen is more. What is this inter-electronic repulsion is nothing but nitrogen is having a lone pair of electrons on it. So as a result, what happens, because of these lone pair of electrons, no, there is a repulsion taking place between the atom. So this will weak the nitrogen single bond. So when we compare the stability, this is little weak compared to the other element. Okay, then phosphorus and other elements, no, they can form a d-pi bond. What does it mean? One atom of the d orbital and the another d orbital will combine and there is a formation of d-pi form. But there is no formation of p-pi and d-pi bond. So why is it so? You have learnt it in the chemical bonding that any orbitals to overlap, they have to have a similar energy and then the symmetry should be same. Here the p orbital size is less and the d orbital size is more. So as a result, what happens is overlapping is very difficult, and then when the bond will be formed is when there is a overlapping, that is the extent of overlapping has to be more. So that will not be taking place. That is why there is no formation of p-pi and the d-pi bond. Whereas with the higher molecules, no, they can form. So that is here two examples I have written where they can form a bond with alkyl groups, that is PCH3 tries, or the phosphorus with the C2H5 tries. Okay, there is a formation. Then the next chemical property of this is reactivity towards hydrogen. So all these group 15 elements, no, they will react with the hydrogen to form a respective hydrides. For example, they will react to form EH3, that is E may be element of this group 15 like nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and then the bismuth. So how to remember this is, see, nitrogen, which is negative because of the lone pair of electrons, and H plus, and they will form a NH3. So there is a formation of hydride here. So the oxidation number for this nitrogen here will be what? It is obviously it is minus 3. Now, similarly with the other elements, how the reaction will be taking place is to form NH3, PH3, ASH3, SbH3 and bismuth H3. Okay. Now, when you want to compare the stability of these hydrides, so what exactly happens to the stability of this is, the stability of this decreases from NH3 to BiH3. Okay. Here I have written the properties, melting point, boiling point and the dissociation value, enthalpy value, NH3, PH3, ASH3, SbH3, BiH3. Okay, that we'll study. So what I have told you is the stability of this hydrides, that is decreasing from the NH3. So what is the main reason for this is, you know that when do you say any molecule to be stable or any molecule to be weak is, if for example if a molecule, if you can break it very easily, that means NH3, if you break N separately and H separately, no, then you call it as what? A very weak bond, and then you say that the stability or the molecule is less stable. So what is this breaking called is nothing but, it is nothing but dissociation enthalpy. So the molecule which can dissociate easily, what does it mean is, it is having a weak bond. So we can explain this stability factor with respect to what? With respect to this dissociation values. In terms of kilojoules it is. So the NH3 value is 389, for PH3 322, ASH3 that is 297, SP 255. So that is why it is having a highest value here. Dissociation energy for this is more. That means the bond is very strong. It requires a more amount of energy to break that. So that is why the stability will be NH3 more, then PH3, then ASH3, then SB and then the BiH3. So that is mainly because of what? Bond dissociation enthalpy of the energy. Okay. Then one more factor based on this, what you can explain here is, that is the reducing character increases here. So what does it mean here is, that is BiH3 is a strong reducing agent compared to NH3. So when we see the molecule here, that is NH3, that is PH3, ASH3 and BiH3, no? And then SpH3. What exactly happens here is, this is acting as a reducing agent, that is strong reducing agent. So what does it mean is, you know that all this is, they are having a oxidation state of -3. Okay, they are having oxidation state of -3. In the previous video you have learned that the minus oxidation state, what happens? That decreases. Okay, so as a result what happens? It wants to get a stability by reducing the other. So BiH3 will reduce the other and itself undergo oxidation so that it will attain the stability. So that is why down the group that will be increasing. So that is why BiH3 is acting as a strong reducing agent. You have to remember. They give you the four of this and ask you to arrange them in the increasing or the decreasing order of their reducing power. That you have to remember, one point. The second important point here is the stability of this respective hydrides. Okay, that also you should remember. So if any molecule now, if it wants to attain the stability, it will reduce the other and it will undergo oxidation in order to get its stability. Okay, that is what the thing here. So in the textbook they have given this chart. So what does it mean here is, you can see I have written two important physical properties for these hydrides. First one is melting point, the second one is boiling point. You can see here from NH3 to PH3 the melting point decreases. That means from 195.2 to 139.2. Later on what happens is it goes on increasing. Okay, boiling point also same. It decreases from here and then it increases from here. So what does it mean is, you know that down the group when you go, no, the molecular mass will be increasing. As a result what happens is the boiling point will obviously increase. Okay, they are directly proportional to one another. So why is that this nitrogen is having more boiling point compared to the pH 3? That is, the main reason is this. In case of NH3, there is a hydrogen bonding. Okay, so as a result, what happens? The bond will be strong compared to this pH 3. So why there is a hydrogen bond? Because the nitrogen is electronegative. Okay, that is, the electronegativity is more. As a result of this, no, because of this hydrogen bonding, that is hydrogen bonding is there in case of NH3. As a result, it is having the boiling point more compared to the other. This one you have to remember. So it will not continuously increase there. Okay, NH3 will be more, and then pH3 will be less, and then from ASH3 to the up to Bi, then it keep on increasing. This is very important. You have to keep it in mind. Okay. Next, the next important chemical property, that is reactivity towards oxygen. Okay, so melting point is also same. It will be increasing. But why this NH3 here is nothing but because of the inter-electronic repulsion in the NH3, no, that will make the NH3 to show a more melting point. That is one reason that you have to remember that. So reactivity towards oxygen. These group 15 elements mainly form two compounds with the oxygen. That is, one they may form the E2O3, the other one is E2O5. So for example, if you take the nitrogen, so N2O3 will be formed, or the N2O5 will be formed. Okay, so these oxides, how you have to know on what is important here is, they will ask you to identify which is strong acid or the weak acid among that, or the increasing or the decreasing acidic nature. So how you have to remember this is, for example, if they are given you N2O5 and N2O3, or P2O5 or the P2O3, no, what you have to know is, you have to identify the oxidation number of that element. So the one which is having more oxidation number, okay, so that will be having a more acidic nature. Okay, so that is the main thing there. So down the group, when you go, what happens is the acidic characteristic, no, that will decrease. Okay, so that means N2O3, P2O3, S2O3, when we move down from top to bottom, there is a decrease in the acidic character. You have to remember. One more thing, what you have to keep it in mind here is, some of them here are acidic, some of them are amphoteric, and some of them are basic. So there is an important trick that you have to remember here is, that is, remember, very very important it is, you have learned that nitrogen, phosphorus, they are what? They are non-metals. Okay, they are non-metals. Whereas arsenic and antimony, they are metalloids. The bismuth is the only one which is metal here. Always remember how to identify any oxide as acidic, amphoteric, and then the basic is, remember, the non-metallic oxides. For example, if the given thing is non-metal, the respective oxide of non-metal will always be what? It will be always acidic. The metalloids oxides, they are always amphoteric in nature. What is the reason? Metalloids are nothing but what? They show the properties of metals as well as the non-metals. They will be lying between these two. That is why they will show both acidic as well as the basic nature. So that is why we are going to call them as a amphoteric compounds. Okay. The last one, that is bismuth, which is a metal. So the metallic oxides will always be what? They will always be having a basic nature. So now it is very easy for you to know which is acidic, which is basic, or which is amphoteric. So this is about the anomalous property of nitrogen, which is important. You should know the reason there, and what is p-pi bonding, and what is d-pi bonding, and why there is no formation of p-pi d-pi. Okay, and then the reactivity towards the hydrogen and reactivity towards this oxygen, and which of them are acidic and which of them are basic, and then How to identify the acidic nature is, it is based on the oxidation number. The one with a more oxidation number, that will be having a more acidic nature.